Oh, you get your cup of coffee and get comfortable. Okay. Because, you know, as we were thinking about what to talk about today, I know the economy, everybody want to make more money, right? Everybody always thinking about how to expand, how to do more, how to have more, all the things. But I think one of the things that's grossly overlooked in that process is if you want to make more money, you just need to serve your client at a higher level. Okay. And that's what we're going to unpack today, right? Like, what does it look like to really serve your client at a higher level so that you can charge a higher price and then you can make a higher living? It's really that simple. And this revelation came back to me as I sweat right now in real time. I was out on a 3 mile run this morning and I just felt God just dropped this in my spirit. Like, I'm asking myself, what do I really do? Right? Yes, we help our coaches and consultants make a lot of money. We've got clients that's done 800,000 in 7 months, right? Um, that's cool, but it's like, what do you really do, right? And for the longest time, if you ask me that question, I would say that we help coaches and consultants scale to doing 6 figure days, multiple 6 figure months, 7 figure years. That is true. But what we really do is we help coaches and consultants get their client a better payoff so that they can have a better payday. And I promise you, that came to me in real time as I'm out running just an hour ago. And so that's kind of the backdrop of the conversation today. Yes, we want to help you make more money, and we're going to do that in this conversation today. But we're going to do it in a way that most people aren't thinking about. It's about how do you create more value for your client so then you create more value for yourself. It's almost irresponsible and selfish to think just because you want to make more money, you just go charge people more money. When the reality is you create more value to where they always get the win at the end of the day. Right? If Alex pay us 55,000 for him to make 800, who wins? Alex does. Now we do too, right? Marginally, but he gets the bigger win, and that's the essence of how you go out and create more value and create more money in the market. So that was a long-winded introduction, but here we are. What's up, P?
Nah, that was good. What's up, BA? Man,
What's happening?
I'm excited to be here. Um, I think it's gonna be one of the better conversations because I feel like we're gonna hit every area, and you do what you do. I'm gonna do what I do, and we're gonna feed these people some great value. You know what I'm
For
saying?
sure, for
I'm
sure.
ready.
By the way, y'all let us know if y'all can hear us in the chat. Let us know in the chat if you can hear us.
Yeah. So you ready, B?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So, um, you obviously know behind the scenes what situation I'm in, but I'm gonna lay it out because I don't want to just talk in assumption that they know where I'm at.
For sure.
So just got a new job, right? So obviously in sales, um, and right now I am really just having that active income to not only build stability but to also fund the business. So my question is, what what did your root season look like before everything took off? Because I feel like I'm in that root season, that foundational season. So what did your root season look like before everything took off, and what principles should I be establishing and implementing in my everyday life before I really hit the ground running again?
It's a really good question. So first of all, big shout out to you for having enough humility to go and get a job. It's crazy that you use humility and job in the same sentence in 2025, but that's the reality of it. Most people on the internet would tell you, you don't need no job. Just go out there and be poor and sleep out your car and eat garbage and then you have a big story. It's like that's stupid, right? Like what if my circumstances put me in that situation is one thing,
Right,
but for me to put myself in those circumstances is something altogether different.
100%.
Okay? Like let's be honest. So if I got enough wisdom and humility to go get a job, then guess what? That job becomes my business partner, which is the conversation that we have in the day, right?
Right,
If you go on the job to clock in, clock out, spend money, get high, drunk on the weekend, do it all over again, yeah, you're failing yourself and everybody attached to you, right? But
right.
if you look at this as your job as being your first business partner and you're going to leverage those funds to invest in your business, then more power to you because that's how I did it. Okay. I often say that the best time to look for a plan B is why you got a plan A.
Say that again. That's good.
The best time to look for a plan B is why you got a plan A.
That's good.
It, and it's a lot of reasons behind that practically because I remember when I left my job, when I left corporate America back in early 2019, like February 2019. And at that time, I was making my annual salary monthly. So I was making just shy of 6 figures a year. I was making 6 figures a month for like the last 5 months before I quit my job. And I don't care how much money you make, right? The day that you no longer had that check coming in bi-weekly, everything changes. Because that thing used to cover your livelihood while everything else was extra.
Right.
Now the business has to cover everything, right? So that's why I say the best time to look for a plan B is why you got a plan A, because what most people do wrong is they quit their job too soon in the process, and then they suffocate their newborn baby called business because they put too much on it too soon. It's still on milk. It ain't ready for solid food yet. So then inadvertently you suffocate this thing that's supposed to free you from the thing, and then you got to go back to the thing. So you suffocate this thing called your business that's supposed to free you from this thing called job, which inadvertently puts you back in this thing called job again. Instead of just keeping the job to grow your business up healthy and strong, and then it can put the weight of the world on its shoulders when you walk away. But that ain't what social media and society teaches today. It's like, no, just quit, jump. You only got to take that from them till you become your own boss, though. How do you tell you what to do every day? Self-coaching is a whole nother aspect, right? So to get more specific to your question, I don't really. So obviously, I just talked about how my business was doing 6 figures a month for the last 5 months before I quit my corporate job.
Right.
I don't know if I would define that as the business taking off, though. Right? Like to this point, after making a little over $6 million in the last 7 years online, my business still haven't took off yet. You know what I'm saying? So I have a difficult problem with that question because for me, I can't quantify that right now. What I do know is that we have to be habitual seed sowers if we want to have a habitual harvest. So if every deed is a seed, if every time I make a decision and everything that I do, there's a reaction for every one of those actions. If I choose to watch Netflix for 3 hours, then my life is going to look a certain way as a result of that. I may be happy in a moment, but I'm going to be miserable later. If I choose to spend 3 hours educating myself in the area of expertise that I'm in or going into and getting coaching and feeding my spirit and my soul, my life and my business also is going to look like that. So I think we take for granted, we wish a lot, but then don't do the inputs that align with that wish. We dream a lot, but then we don't do the inputs. So we got this big idea, this big dream, this big goal, but then we think that we just keep doing and meandering with the normal stuff we do every day and, playing fantasy this and watching TV for 2-3 hours and scrolling social media for 2-3 hours and go to work for 8-9 hours. And then one day, mysteriously, this cloud is just gonna come over us and God gonna start talking to us like, this is your moment. You know what I'm saying? This is your moment. You are finally released to go live a better life. Like, what? It don't go like that, man. So what happens is, while you in this season, you got to be sowing the right seeds of your expected one day harvest. That's why faith without works is dead. You have to act in faith in the moment for what you want to see in your future. Is this making sense to anybody so far? Or am I just talking?
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Okay, so for me, I'm less output focused as I am input oriented.
Mm,
Yesterday, last night, after I got done, I don't remember what I did yesterday. I did a lot though. I do remember that. By the end of the day, I was like, it's a lot. So I went and sat out on the lanai. I had a cigar, my customary response to a long day. And but I spent the hour in the portal in one of my masterminds feeding myself. Why? Because we got a 5 day challenge next week. So I gotta feed me so I can feed them. I know I gotta pour out at an extreme level next week, and I can't never come up with insufficient funds.
mm,
Right?
it's good.
So that's an input that I'm doing today for an expected outcome of next week. I have no idea who's gonna be there. I have no idea how many gonna be there. I have no idea. Don't matter. A prepared man is better than a prepared message. So the best thing that I could do for myself and everybody I'm attached to and called to serve is to constantly prepare myself for whatever that is. So I think if you take that posture of there is no there, that's kind of what I believe now. There is no there,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
We gonna likely scale our business 3x next year. Okay, that's what we discussed in our quarter 4 meeting that we had. Okay, cool, and that's gonna be okay, right? If we get there, but there is no there. Once we get there, then it's like okay, so then what's next? So I've made enough, lost enough to understand that at this point. So the business taking off is not important. It's you growing to a point that you can always grow into the next level. You growing to a point that you can grow into the next level. So this is what happens. Maybe somebody making 6 figures a year right now, right? 150,000. They say I want to get to 1 million. And let's just say that God blesses them with enough business to get to 1 million. But they never took enough time to focus on preparing themselves for who they need to be when they get to 1 million. They'll get there, but they ain't gonna stay there.
That's good. That's good.
So that's what I mean by the focus needs to be on preparing yourself that you can always grow into your next season and not let your season become so big that it smothers you.
That's really good. Um, Man, that was loaded. There's so many like little things that I want to touch on, but one of the things that you said is that you're more input oriented than outcome focused. Can you touch on that a little bit, because especially um in the season that I'm in, and just full transparency. So yesterday after I got done my workout, because as soon as I get off of work, I have the God had blessed me to be able to work at a place where I can also work out. So, get my finances and my health at one place. So after I was done working out, these two people who still work there, they asked me a question that would have made me fall into my previous habits that never served me well.
Mm.
And it's all the things that they do. This is my second week of being here. Begged God for the job. That's one. I begged him because I'm like, listen, you give me this, I'm a steward when I need to steward. I'm gonna become the man you want me to become. Literally, second week, they're like, yo, like, what you about to do? I'm like, I'm about to go home. Like, I got a schedule. I got things I got to do. They like, yeah, we about to do this. You trying to come? I'm like, nah, I'm not that person. That was my response in that, because I'm like, I'm not that person. I asked God to bless me, and now I'm going to turn my back on him because I'm in here now. So but I was thinking, I was like, I know when I was doing that input, I always hated the outcome.
Mm.
Always hated the outcome. So I wanted to just ask you if you could just touch on that input oriented instead of outcome focused a little more, because that was something that as soon as you said it, I'm like, man, like I need you to touch on that a little more.
Yeah, I think what really happens is the more that I'm clear about what I want tomorrow helps make my decisions easier about what I got to do today.
You gotta run that back. You gotta say that again.
The more that I'm clear about what I want tomorrow
Wow.
makes the decisions easier about what I got to do today. Bro, you got to, I'm assuming they was about to go smoke weed, hang out, all the things that everybody else does, right?
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I used to smoke weed and hang out. I used to drink and hold the bar up with the best of them. But because when I got clear about my tomorrow, I had to make different choices about my today. I quit drinking in 2019, January 6th. I ain't had to swallow since. And I used to get it in, right? Get it in. You know what I'm saying? Look, a loose schedule and a pocket full of money is a dangerous combination. Let me just tell you. Okay.
Man.
I had my way. But um, but yeah, when you call the more you gotta do different. If you want to get there. Here's the dangerous part about our relationship with God. And I heard Darius Daniels say this. I was at International Leadership Conference with TD Jakes back in Charlotte in 20, I think it was in 2022, and Darius Daniels came and preached. And he said something that's forever stuck with me. He said, God will love you at the level you choose to stay at.
Mm,
Like he not gonna make you become more.
that's so good.
He'll give you a unction and an appetite to. He'll give you a desire to. Take delight in the Lord, he'll give you the desires of your heart. He'll give you a desire to, but he's not gonna make you do the work though. And he will still love you at the level you choose to suffer at. So we gotta be input oriented and focused.
Wow.
People like, God, why me? He like, not why me. Why you choose to do that? I gave you the power of choice. This the choice you decided. So I love you unconditionally at whatever level you choose to settle at or suffer at.
That's so good. That's so good. I also heard something the other day, actually yesterday. It was the video you sent me. You sent me this a little while ago. Um, and I never really sat down to chew on the message, right? So I was able to watch the video when he was and Darius and his co-pastor, Dr. Marcus. Dr. Marcus said he was like, the enemy will hold you hostage somewhere that he has no power to keep you.
Facts.
And I was like, wow.
Facts. Facts.
Like, and I know what it was like living in that season,
Bro.
living the same cycle over and over and over again. And I'm like, because he was and it's so funny because like our dynamic is what they were kind of talking about, because he was like, the help can't help you if you don't change.
Mm.
So we can give you all the principles, we can give you all the tips, we can give you all of these things, but if you don't change, it's never going to help you. And I was just sitting there like, this is me and B's dynamic. If I don't change, it's not his fault. He's where he's at because he changed. So if I don't change, then it's my fault. So I was just sitting there really chewing on that, because I'm like, this season is predicated on how much I'm willing to die to my old self, on how much I'm actually willing to change to get to where I want to be. My next question is, how do I be a habitual seed sower in my season right now?
Well, the first thing is just getting clear about what are the inputs that drive the outcome.
Mm.
So as an example, I know that if I want to reach more people, I got to put out content daily. Which is why since 2018, when I got on the internet, we've probably missed 5 days posting in 7 years. Like scheduled days, right? We've probably missed 5 days posting in 7 years of the days we post. Because I understand that's a fundamental, I may as well consider myself out of business if I'm not doing it. So it's a non-negotiable. That's an input that got to happen. Every single week, I got to check with my marketing assistant and say, hey, what do you need from me for content? And I got to go shoot it, regardless of what I feel about it. I've dreaded the last probably 5 recordings of these whiteboard videos that I do on Finance Friday. I don't know why. I think because, they 20 to 30-minute recordings. I got no audience here with me, right? Which I may start doing them live or something where I feel like it's somebody there. So I'm just talking to the camera, but I'm still having to create energy as if there's an audience there. You know what I mean? So that the
Right.
video is not stale as I'm
Right.
teaching. So I think that's partially it, right? But regardless of how I feel about it, it's still part of my job. That's what I got to do. So it's understanding that if I don't do my part, other people don't get help.
That's
So it's
good.
just certain things that's non-negotiable. Learning something every day, non-negotiable. Spending time with God every day, non-negotiable. Creating content every day, non-negotiable. My health and fitness every day, non-negotiable. Right? Date night with my wife every week, non-negotiable. Trips a few times a year with my wife, non-negotiable. Like it's just certain things that's not based on the outcomes that I want. Then there's certain inputs that I gotta have.
That's good. So would you say a lack of inputs is a lack of clarity?
A lack of inputs could be a lack of discipline.
Mm.
Most people don't need new information, they need new execution.
Boy.
Let me take this course and that. You got enough courses. You need to implement what's in the course. You don't need new information, you need new execution.
That's good.
That's the problem.
That's really good.
We got to replace activity with productivity. They're different. One leaves you busy and broke. One leaves you booked and busy.
That's so good. Whew, man. Need new execution. I ain't never heard that one. And talking to your points right now. So one thing I realized with you is that you're not just a good communicator, you're a transformational one. So it's like once I'm exposed to what you're saying, it's like if I don't transform, that's on me. Because what you're saying, literally, the foundation of it is like you have to change, you have to transform. So I want to ask you, how does one become a transformational communicator? Because I'm like, as I begin to sift through and I'll talk to more people every day, I'm like, I want to help people. Like you help people really maximize and optimize, if I'm being honest. Like there's not just one area we're going to be successful at. I'm going to be successful in every area. Is that's something that you live by? So you're maximizing and optimizing every area. So how does one do that? Like to become that type of transformational speaker to where you're optimizing every area of one's life? Because this, what you're telling me, is not only spiritual. It's not only business. It's a lifestyle. So it's across every single area of my life. So how does one like how did you get to that communication level and style to where you're at right now?
So I hate false humility. Okay. But I'm gonna be completely humble when I say this part. And then I'm gonna
Okay.
also own my part. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't give myself the gift. People have always applauded me and championed me for being able to take complex topics and make them very simplistic in nature when I speak about them. I didn't give myself that gift, right? That's
Right.
God gave me that gift. That I'm now that I'm consciously aware of it though, I hone in on it even more and develop that skill and all the rest of it. Okay. But to answer the second part of your question about being transformational in my conversation with others, is that although I'm input oriented for me, I'm outcome oriented for them.
Mm,
I'm input oriented for me. That's how I run my day to day. But I'm outcome oriented every time I speak to somebody about them. So the reason that my conversation come off transformational is because every time that I speak to somebody about something, I'm trying to help them get a transformation. I'm thinking about what is the outcome for them if they apply what I just said. So I always try to speak in a way that helps them see practically and pragmatically how do they get to the new outcome.
That's very good. Wow. That's man. Input oriented for me, outcome oriented for them. I've never heard that one. I've
Me
never heard
neither.
that
I
one.
ain't never said it before, but you asked the question.
Yo, I can't. And for me right now, it's really becoming it before I launch it.
Mhm.
So what does it really mean to become the business? Like, what does that really mean? Because that's where I feel like that's the season that I'm in, building these habits, being consistent. And like you said, yes, it's humble to get a job, but it's necessary for where I want to go. Like, if I'm not doing that, I'm setting myself up for failure and a harder journey. Like you said, it's one thing for your circumstances to put you there, but I had the choice. So I'm like, it's either I do what's necessary or I end up in a situation where I put myself there. Who else can I get mad at? Because, for example, God sent me in front of you. So first I got God, and then God is like, okay, you not. Let me use somebody else to get the message across to you. So He sent you. So it's like I have no excuse. There is none. So in this season right now, I want to become the actual person and not just because one thing that I was realizing as I was posting and doing all the things previously is that I was giving everybody knowledge, but I didn't have wisdom. So I was just telling
Mm,
people stuff I knew, but I didn't tell
mm,
people stuff I do.
mm,
So that's what
mm.
really checked me in this season because
That,
God is like,
that's gangster. That's
bro,
gangster. Yeah. Okay.
bro,
All right.
I'm telling you that rocked my world because when I was looking at what I was telling people, I was not seeing the fruit of what I was telling people in my own life. So I'm
That's
telling you, do this, do that, do this, do that. And then I'm going back to my day to day, like, why is everything I'm telling people not showing up in my own life? So this break that I've taken was because God is like, you're actually gonna have wisdom when you come back. This isn't just gonna be knowledge that is stored up here. Because everybody thought I was wise because I was giving them something that was knowledgeable. But I was never doing anything that was wisdom. Nothing was. I was making decisions that were quite literally the opposite of what was stored in my head.
mm,
So in this season, I'm becoming. I'm
mm-hmm.
building the foundation. I'm building the roots. So like, I want to just really honestly hear your advice on how to actually become it. Because that's where I'm at right now, honestly. Like, I'm learning what wisdom actually is and not just sitting here sounding knowledgeable. So
Yeah, man. It's so much to unpack. Robin, we see you, sis. I'm gonna answer that question as soon as I get done with this. It's a lot to unpack there, bro. First of all, shout out to you for having the humility to admit that and recognize it, right? It's people out here every day. This is what I mean by Chat GPT will make people sound remarkable but not relatable. So they'll be able to go and get like different things from chat and tell people go do this and go do that, and it'll sound like remarkable, like they know what they're doing, but they're not actually doing it themselves, right? It's a big
right.
problem. Um, I'm gonna be short on this one for the sake of the fact that I can go on and on and on and on about this one, but this is the way I look at becoming. If you understand, principally speaking, that the way that God does anything, right? He blesses decency and order. Okay. He ordered our steps. So he's a God of order. He's a God of detail, which is why he tells us about all these details and all the various parables and passages in the scripture. But one thing that he does consistently since the beginning of time is he always gives the capacity before the content.
Mm.
He created the world, heaven and earth. He put the things in the garden after he created the capacity for the garden. And then he put man in the garden to have dominion over those things. So he gave capacity before he put the content. So becoming to me simply means that I'm expanding my capacity so that he can give me new content to manage. So the things that I used to do 7 years ago when I just started coaching real estate clients, I couldn't coach business clients right now based on the capacity I had back then. But after 7 years of doing that, 6 years of doing that, making millions of dollars, losing hundreds of thousands of dollars, training people all over the world in 4 different countries, that gave me, I became a person of a different capacity that now he's giving me new content again. So that's what becoming is. Becoming is changing your inputs so that you can increase your capacity so that he can bless you with a different assignment. Because if you hold fast to what I believe to be true, which is that God will make you eat your sermons, I never want to be telling somebody something that one, I haven't done, or two, I'm unwilling to do. I don't think we should always coach from our previous experience because there may be certain things that could be new information that you've been able to filter and understand that, this is a wise thing to do. I didn't get a chance to do it this way, but I would recommend you do it this way. So it's not just singular that I only coach people based on my past experience. The bulk of it should come from that because we get knowledge from looking forward, we get wisdom from looking backwards. So it is important that we coach from a place of wisdom on our own experiences, all the rest of it, but not exclusively for that though. If I see something new come out in AI and this and that, and I may not be as up to speed on it, but I do enough research and I talk to trusted resources, then it would be damaging to the people that I'm coaching to not give them that. But at the very same time, to your point, that can't be the foundation by which I build my business on either, though. I do need to have some tangible, practical experience to be able to impart with others if I want to effectively help them well.
100%.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's good.
So becoming is simply just increasing my capacity and my ability so that God can give me a bigger assignment. It's the reason why people that work at a job for 20, 30 years stay stuck there because they never did anything to increase their capacity. So maybe you go from supervisor to manager, maybe you go from manager to senior manager, maybe. So you get your little 3%, 8% merit increase every year, I mean, God made the provision. He can make a bigger one if you became bigger. Right?
That's
So
good.
let's see. Robin asked a question. So I'm at a point. What's up, Robin? Said, I'm at a point where I need help with my social media. Would you recommend a personal assistant with expertise or social media marketing specialists? Any recommendations? So, Robin, I got a follow up to that if you're still here. Are you referencing you need help with posting or you need help with ideating, curating the content, shooting the videos, getting good on camera? You know what I mean? Like, are you talking about the mechanics of it or are you talking about the development of it? Okay. That additional context will be helpful because it's a different answer depending on what that is, right? But I'll start with the assumptive response, which is that you just need somebody to do the editing and posting of it and the captions and all the rest of it. I'm a big proponent of two different things, right? One, always leverage your highest and best abilities. Okay. Those are going to be your most profitable things that you can do. So, me shooting content, me doing lives, me going to speak on stages, right? These are the highest yield results that I can produce for the company. So I got a marketing assistant that does all my editing, posting, all the things, right? I got an admin that does all of these things. I got a marketing team that does all of these things. At the very same time though, I'm also a big believer in leading with revenue. What happens is sometimes for new business owners, and I don't know if you knew or not, Robin, so I'm speaking in general, we can lead with a lot of expenses, which is a problem because you always never feel like you're getting caught up. If you don't learn how to make a lot of money in a little bit of time, you're always going to be chasing these expenses from month to month. And your business now is going to feel like your lifestyle where all you do is wake up and pay bills. And don't nobody want to keep going into work when that's the reality. Even your work called your business. You don't want to get up, work every day 14, 15 hours in your business and all you do is pay bills and pay everybody else. It sucks. That may happen for a season because maybe, revenue dipped off or something like that. But that shouldn't be a consistent theme in your situation though. Right? So if you have the the profit margin, Robin, to do it, I would say do it, right? If that frees you up to then go focus on a bunch of other stuff because maybe you're getting bogged down with doing a bunch of editing and things that's just not your natural skill set, I get it. But I will say also that the more that we understand about the various roles that we hire, the better off we are because the you hear them dogs barking? Can you hear them barking, bro? Man, my man acting a fool right now. I ain't know if y'all can hear it or not. So, bro, like that's crazy. Like my man is like having a complete fit right now. Um, but
Hey.
the thing is, you wanna learn as many of those positions as possible, so that when you do start hiring people, you can hold them accountable to what the standard should be, right? How can I have somebody do X amount of work if and they tell me it took them X amount of time if I don't know how much it should take? Now, editing videos, marketing, all that, that's a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Because if
Yeah.
I'm bad at it, I don't know how long it should take either. But as far as other activities, you just got to be conscious of that. All right. I'm about to do something with him. You got to give me a second. He losing his
For
mind.
sure.
Just talk to the people, man.
All right, bet. I got you. What's up, family? And yeah, so I'm in a season where I was just telling B that I had to go get a job because I was asking God to give me increase, but my money habits were bad. Um, and on top of that, as I was talking to God, he was telling me, he was like, you want to be like Jesus, you want to pray like Jesus, you want to talk like Jesus, you want to do miracles like Jesus. But he was like, you're forgetting the most important thing that Jesus did. And I was like, what was that? And I was like, and he was like, Jesus died. And he was like, you're in your season where you have to die to your old self in order to get to where I want to go. Because I launched Praise Academy, right? And I was making all this content. But then, like I said, I was telling B that, I was telling people things that I wasn't doing. So now I'm in a season of actually becoming what I need to do. But B, you are back, and Robin said all of the above. So now you can get better to get back to explaining. Um
Yeah. Okay. So I think I answered most of what I would have said anyway, right? With
for
respects
sure.
to, you know, outsourcing the things that's bogging down your time if you got the money to pay them, right? Uh, at the very same time, though, you you got to get good at creating content, right? It's just extremely important. Okay, and the only way you're gonna get good at it is by being bad at it at first. I think we got to be okay with that, right? And I'm not saying whether you good or bad, Robin. I just the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, I'm about to get them all the way together. But the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is because most people end up in a situation where they just uncomfortable with content, and it's only so much of that you can outsource. You just got to go through the ugly stage. We all do until it get to a point where it becomes more muscle memory. You know what I mean? And so,
Right.
yeah, that's what I would say to that. That's what I would say. This is crazy, man. Bro, I'm talking about he acting a complete fool though. And I know, I just realized what it is too. My wife left this morning to go work out, and then she never came back. They ain't ate yet. That's the problem. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? They ain't been fed yet today. I know I'm
yeah.
a bad owner, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, y'all can judge me later. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they not playing.
They're not
They
playing
like,
at
where my
all.
food at?
At all. But look, why don't we do this? Let's put because we got what 20 minutes left.
Right.
I'm about to go put them upstairs, and then let's have some people put in some questions in the chat. Let's get some
Beautiful.
questions going. Because I look, Praise and I, we always got some level of conversation that we know is gonna help y'all, right? But we want to get y'all specific questions as well. Okay. So P, why don't you
100%.
field some of them questions? I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Ask some questions, family. I'm ready to answer. If y'all got questions for me, if y'all got questions about the business, I've been under Brian since March, and his mentorship, and it's been absolutely amazing. But yeah, just to even give you guys more context about where I'm at. It's so funny because where I'm at, like I said, I got to become, because the be do have framework in Genesis, I got to be more, and then I'll be able to do more, and then once I do more, I'll be able to have more. So that's really where I'm at, and it's so funny because um, in the season that I'm in, it's really me building a true foundation. And I know a lot of you, I don't know where you guys are at. I'm assuming, obviously, all you guys have businesses, you guys have launched it, and all of the things. But there's one thing that I'm learning. I'm reading the book Atomic Habits right now. And in that book, he says mastery requires patience. And he was like, anytime that he's in a process, um, he thinks about the stone carver. And once the rock finally cracked, it's not the one blow that did it, but all the other ones that went before it. So I just also wanted to share that as well. But yeah, let's get some questions in the chat so my man BA can do what he do. Hasn't been no questions yet, but yeah, man, you
Don't
situated over
don't
there
don't don't be shy. Y'all don't be shy. Y'all here for a reason. Put your question. The only bad question is the one you don't ask, right? I mean, y'all got me. My hourly rate is pretty expensive. You got me here pro bono right now. I would take full advantage of that if you got questions about your business. Trust me.
yeah.
It only
Um,
gets more expensive from here. Trust me.
yeah. I listen. You don't play that. You funny. He said my hourly rate is expensive.
I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck. It is.
Yeah, I know. I
It get
know. Yeah, I know
increasingly more expensive after we leave this setting. You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. Bro, first things first, I just appreciate you for just tailoring your answers to the season that I'm in, because the funny part is the all the phases that you went through, because this is one thing that I've been learning is that I've been moving out of impatience this whole time. That's
Mm.
something that I've learned in this season as I started working, because everything that where you are today, you've been patient. You were patient enough to build, you were patient enough to do.
I wouldn't say that though.
But
In fairness, I wouldn't say that. And
the
here's why I
only
wouldn't say
only
that.
reason only reason I say you've been patient is because there were seasons that you went through that I didn't see, obviously, right?
Hmm.
That you've endured. There's
Hmm.
seasons that I'm not trying to go through that I need to endure.
But I wasn't trying to endure them either though. It's just that my actions caused me to have to.
Mm,
So so
understood.
here's my story. Okay, my story is this: since an adolescent growing up on the west side of Detroit, I've always been attracted to success. I was attracted to fast money, fast cars, fast girls, fast everything, right? Growing up. My biggest challenge in life and in business has always been going too big too fast. That's every time I've lost money has been in a result of that. I lost $500,000 in real estate at one point because I scaled too quickly. Lost $250,000 in the coaching business years ago because I tried to scale too quickly. I didn't have all the right infrastructure in place. Now, as a result of that, though, I'm now in a season where I have more patience. But I also, because I lose so big, I also learn so much more faster. So because of these big L's that I've taken, I've compressed the learning time that it may have taken other people 10, 15 years to figure something out. I figure out in 18 months just because of my aggressive nature in business.
Mm,
So I haven't necessarily gotten here by patience. I've gotten here by pain. My seasons have been very painful, but it's Romans 8 and 28. So it's all been working together for my good, no doubt
right.
about that. Because what it also has done is it's allowed me to have enough experience at the age of 42 to where I can serve the masses. I got so much life experience, bro. I'm 42. I got a 23-year-old daughter and a grandbaby on the way in January. I've been with my wife 20 something years. We've been married 18. I've been rich and broke, I don't know how many times since my 20s, since I was your age. So I've got so much life experience at a seemingly young age, but by virtue of the fact that I've always been so aggressive in everything that I've done.
Mm.
Now I'm in a season where I got patience. Now I'm in a season where I
Mm-hmm.
can focus on the inputs and not the outcomes. Now I'm in a situation where I understand grace for the day and I'm not trying to get ahead of myself because if I worry about tomorrow, tomorrow got enough worries of its own. Like now I'm in a season where I understand that.
Okay. And you talk about this aggressive nature, and it just reminds me of the first time that I met you. I feel like that's what I did. That I was more aggressive than anything. Like that's all I was focused on. Like, nah, I gotta get there. Like I gotta get like my situation's painful too. Like I told myself before 30, we not working no more. Like that's just simply where my mind is, and whatever I have to do to get there, I'm gonna get there. Um, and yeah, because when I first met you, I'm like, nah, like I need to spend more time with you, or we need to have more conversations, or we need to be sitting at the same table, not knowing that was all going to happen within a year.
Hmm. In a much different context by what you thought, but
For
it
sure,
still was nonetheless, yeah,
100%.
for sure.
Um, and the way it happened, like you said, that's not the way I thought it was going to happen, like at
Correct.
all. I didn't think, and in that moment, in that happening, it's funny because I was like, I was telling God like, once I scale, then we'll sit down and eat. And it just reminded me that my gift will bring me before a great man. Like that's where that moment. That's what I was really starstruck. If I'm being honest, like at a point, I was just like, wow, like I'm really sitting at the table with these guys. Like people don't get the luxury of that ever. There's some people who wish they had that, and the fact that I had it before I thought I had to be somewhere in order to get it showed me how God really works. But that was
Because
also me being
God was
aggressive with
showing you
myself.
that it was nothing you could do to make that happen. That it was only by
Right,
His grace that He made that happen.
100%.
That's exactly because He knew from a performative perspective, you would have thought you'd have performed your way into that. When He made it very clear,
Come
like,
on.
no, I'm gonna do this just so you know that you didn't do it.
The way I would have tried to perform my way into something like that, just for it not to be authentic, just for me to, man, I'm telling you that's one of the things that I thank God for, because when it felt like I had zero, that sit down made me feel like I had everything I needed. Just show me.
And by the way, I mean I got dozens of clients that's paid $30,000 for various mentorship that's never met me in person. And
Wow.
I'm not saying that to you. You know my heart. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
saying
yeah,
that.
for sure, for sure.
I'm making the point to how everything played out for you to be sitting at the table with me and David. We got clients that ain't never met us in person.
Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. That's testament to who he is, man. And I just want to also ask this question, because right now, as I sift through, like, because like now, like you said, like this job now is like my business partner. It's so funny because I was having a conversation with another person who wants to be an entrepreneur, and I was literally giving him all the gems that you passed down to me. Like I was like, man, my mentor says this. But he's like, how did you get a mentor? I was like, to be honest, I just took a risk. Like I just followed everybody. Um, I was like, I just followed everybody who I thought was going to benefit me. He reached out, and the rest is history. But I was like, it was really his heart posture of reaching out. But I'm like, if I never created a page, if I never even took the risk to start, Lord knows where I would be right now. And I was talking to him about it, and it's so funny because as I was thinking about, this job being my business, I'm like, what is the best way to leverage this job, as to help it fund my business? I just want to ask that before we get to Sharice's question after this.
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's funny because I'm listening to all your questions, and now I'm starting to understand what the banner is behind all the questions. The answer to this question is really very similar to the answer to the previous questions. Your job can only be your business partner if you understand the business you're in. So once you define Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision, make it plain so that they who read it can run with it. Once you define the business and you define the outcomes that you want, then you leverage the business to pay for the inputs that you need for the outcome. So as an example, when I got my first real estate mentor back in 2016, it was $40,000. And it was an upsell for another 20 some $1,000, which I didn't understand what any of that meant because that was the first seminar I had ever been to. But I've been already doing real estate for 8 years on my own and knew I needed some help. I just didn't understand. So I thought that's what it costs. You know what I mean? I had never been in like another room to compare $40,000 to something else. Well, I ain't have all the money, right? I'll never forget I went and got my wife a Capital One Venture card for like 20 grand. Her credit was better than mine. I applied for one. I got like 15. And then I had some cash, but I was in real estate. So I wanted to preserve some cash so I could still have money toward a deal or whatever. And make a long story short, I was still working at the time. And so when I started that program, I was able to leverage some of my retirement money because that's another farce. People tell you like, oh, don't touch your retirement. It's a penalty, blah, 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 blah. The penalty is not taking control over your future, right? What they don't tell you is that when you take money out of your 401k, you're actually paying yourself back with interest when you recontribute that money back into so you're not, it's retarded. You know what I mean? But based on the custodian and the relationships that they got with the vendors, everybody make money off your money, right? So anywho, what I'm saying is that I was able to leverage my job and what I had been contributing to my 401k to throw acceleration on the thing that I knew would eventually free me, and it did, and really create wealth. 401k ain't creating wealth. That's a big piggy bank for someday that you have some money, but it ain't gonna ever take care of your lifestyle because you have to contribute 70% of your income to that every paycheck, right? People not living that far below their means, et cetera. That's a whole nother conversation for another day. The biggest thing that we could ever do for ourselves is to increase our own capacity so that we can leverage the things we have within our capacity to expedite and to ensure that we'll get to where we want to get at somewhere later down the road, 20 years from now, right? I understood that. So when I'm saying that you use your job, you leverage your job to pay for the input. This is an example of what I'm talking about. I leverage my 401k, my job, to help cover the expense of an input that I needed called joining this mentorship program that was almost $70,000. But as a result of it, that first year, bro, I went out and bought 22, 23 properties. I raised $1 million in private money. I did like it was bananas, right? But I bet on myself though. I've never paid for mentorship, and I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last 10 years. I've never paid for mentorship and not did what they told me to do. Some have been more successful than others, but I've never not did what they told me to do. And I know that about me. A lot of the time why people don't pay for help is because they don't trust that they gonna do their part. It ain't that they don't think the offer is good. Like I trust that I'm gonna always do my part. And not only am I gonna do my part, I'm gonna do it the way you showed me so that if it don't work, I could come back and have an accountability conversation with you. I can't come talk to you about the results I'm not getting from the work I'm not doing the way that you showed me. I fully surrender to the process, right? Because Jesus showed us in that coaching model that if you want to be a successful pupil, then you got to fully surrender. If you will lose your life, you will what?
Save it.
So how can I come to you needing help, pay you for the help? God gave me the provision to pay you and then not do what you showed me? I got to be some kind of crazy and then be mad about the results I'm not getting. So anyway, that was the bonus. But the point is, every question that you've asked me has all come under this one banner. That once you get clear about the business that you're doing, then you'll become more clear about the inputs that you need to get for the outcome that you desire. Does that make sense?
1000%.
That's the answer to all the answers.
1000%. That's good. I gotta ask another one, but I want to get to Cherie's question.
Yeah, let's get to Cherie. So on average, how many hours do you spend a day creating content? Now this is, I'm gonna give you two answers, okay? Because mine is probably not realistic. I don't spend no hours per day creating content anymore, okay? Because I shouldn't say it that way. So there used to be there. I mean, I know, man. I just be having to think sometimes. So because of the cadence of what we post, right? I don't know if y'all ever go look at my social media. I highly recommend you do if you haven't. But if you look at my social media, there's a consistent theme to the posting sequences, right? Stylistically, conversation wise, we post certain things on certain days for certain reasons, right? So some of my content is created while while I'm doing something else. So right now, this conversation, my marketing assistant is gonna go in and she's gonna clip a piece of this conversation to post on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook next Thursday. Right? So my creative process is different. We take like while I'm speaking the praise, I'm creating moments that I know will be good short form clips. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm serving y'all, I'm serving praise, and I'm creating content right now for myself. The reason why I'm doing this on Riverside instead of just YouTube is because I know that it gives me more capacity to reuse and repurpose this content at a later date. Okay. Uh, we drop a podcast every Tuesday on our Believers in Business podcast. So I know that there's going to be a clip of that'll be repurposed for my short form throughout the week. On Mondays, I try to normally do something that's motivational, inspiring to people as they start their week. So I'll know based on what my marketing assistant tell me, she may say we good for 2 weeks. But if I'm feeling inspired, where the environment of where I shoot them videos is literally right across the street. Y'all see me walking around in the bridges and that water. That's where I live at. So if I'm feeling inspired, I just go out there and just shoot a couple and just put them in the drive and she'll just have them for later. So the one video that I gotta consciously create every week is the Finance Friday video because that's a teaching video. So that I gotta really sit down and curate. So I say all that to say I'm I'm maximizing my efforts by being able to repurpose work that I'm already doing much of the time. My Monday and Wednesday videos is something I really got to sit down and strategically curate. Oh, and then we do like Wisdom Wednesdays. So those I may have to, but to answer your question, Cherie, is negligible the amount of time that I spend creating it. The truth is, creating it ain't the bulk of the time. It's the editing and getting it where it need to be to post it is where a lot of that time come in at. Now, it ain't thankfully because I do it so much, it ain't a whole lot of editing to my videos either though. A lot of the stuff y'all see, we just throwing subtitles on it. She not even having to do no editing. Um, just because again, as I was telling Robin, you do it bad long enough, you just get better at it. You know what I mean? Your thoughts become more clear. You get it out in one take. You don't have to
That's
do all
good.
the things to try to, cut it up and make it better. But as a
That's
general
good.
consensus, everybody lifestyle is different. So if you know that you and content creation have a bad relationship where you hate doing it early on, then I would say pick a specific day and get it all done that day so that you get it over with. It's almost like taking medicine, right? You don't want to just keep sipping it periodically. You just want to take it and be done with it. So I would say pick a day, And then based on the amount of pieces you need to create, just record enough content for that. At one point in my career, I used to shoot with a videographer and we would block out like 4 hours and we would come up with 3 to 4 weeks worth of content just by batch creating during that time frame. I don't particularly like batch creating anymore personally. I prefer to shoot more in the moment, but at the same time, I don't have this negative relationship with content creation either. Oh, I post every day. Yeah, I post 6 days a week. Yeah, yeah, we post 6 days a week on Instagram, Facebook. I think we post 4 times on TikTok, twice on LinkedIn, twice long form on YouTube, 5 or 6 YouTube shorts every week. We're omnipresent now. Because when we were making millions of dollars through Instagram, and my Instagram got hacked, and I had to start all over, that taught me a valuable lesson. I said I ain't gonna be a one trick pony no more. I got to be everywhere, right? So yeah, we
That's
put out
good.
a ton of content every week, and as I mentioned, since 2017 when I started, 2018 when I started creating content, we've probably missed 5 days of posting in 7 years. I want you to wrap your head around what I'm saying. It's 365 days in a year, and we've missed 5 days in 7 years of posting. Like at a time where we were supposed to post but didn't. And back to my point with Robin, guess what? I done fired I don't know how many social media managers. But guess what happened? Why they furloughed, then I step in and post my own content. It may not be as pretty, it may not have the subtitles, but I at least got enough wherewithal to know how to upload the video, how to write the captions. So when I say we ain't missed 5 days, we ain't missed but 5 days of posting in 7 years, it's because this guy step in and do the work when somebody ain't there to do the work. So I wasn't being facetious by answering your question the way that I did, Robin. I'm telling you from my own experience, social media managers fly by night, and it's hard to keep one for an extended period of time. And there's going to be times where you're going to have gaps. And in those gaps, somebody got to fill them, or somebody was tuning in to their favorite station, and then all of a sudden, so what happens? And I've said this before, but I'm gonna say it now. What happens when you watch your favorite show on Netflix, right? My wife been watching this black soap opera. I don't know the name of it, but it come on every day, right? That's what soap operas do. But what happens when that thing go off for 3 months to change seasons? You watch something else. So what do you think happens when your potential client, the people you serving, are accustomed to watching you every day, and then you don't post for 2 weeks? They forget about you. That's what happens. You know what they forget? You know what happens? They forget about you. They also forget about paying you at some point in time. So that's what I mean by, yeah, outsource the social media, but also understand how to do it yourself, so that if that point, bro, I don't get to blame anybody for my lack of success but me. People can have a part in deficiencies, people can have a part in problems, people can have a part. At the end of the day, I'm responsible for my success. So I'm never going to let nobody hold me hostage in my business. Not never.
It's good. It's good, B. Yeah,
But
man.
here, and I see Cherie kind of like, wow, you post a lot. It's like, yeah,
Right.
but everybody don't have to start there, right? You can start with once a week, but just be consistent with your once a week. It could be twice a week. But what I do know is that
Right.
visibility beats ability.
Mm, that's good.
And P, you watch my content, right? I'm not just remixing the same information. I just got a lot. I got a lot to say. So
Yeah.
I just cut
Deep
the camera
well.
on and say it.
Deep well.
I just cut the camera on and say it. Like I'm not. What I'm saying is that I'm not putting out so much content for the sake of. I'm not sacrificing the messaging for the sake of putting out an excess of content. What I'm saying is that I'm putting out fresh idea and perspective. Um, there's some principle that will remain the same, right? Because the principle is the truth, but the way in which I wrap it will be different to convey it differently to different people or whatnot. But
Right.
it's a fundamental, bro. Like it's and when you start to get the feedback from the people that, bro, I've gotten 7 or 10 DMs just in the last week telling me about how people they need to hear what I'm talking about and how effectively it's changing their life. And one guy was like, you know, I'm homeless right now. I got 4 children with one woman. She just lost the custody of the kids. Your content has been giving me inspiration every day. Literally just told me this 3 days ago, bro. So I'm not confused, man. It's not
Wow.
about me. I don't do it because I like to hear myself talk. I do it because I know it's effective for other people in different ways.
That's good.
But if you don't do it long enough to get them DMs, then you will never know. All because people not tapping you on the shoulder every day telling you great don't mean they're not listening and it's not helping their life. I do it because I know it will help their life. I'm convicted about that. And I'm also convicted of the potential consequence of me not leveraging this free platform. And God has blessed me with certain levels of life experience that could help people in all areas of their life, as you talked about, P. But especially in their faith in their business, and me not share it with people. By the same token, if I wasn't helping people in their life and business, I wouldn't be on social media, bro. There's no way, bro. I've been crisscrossing countries and all that far before I got on social media in 2018. Meaning I don't need social media to validate my lifestyle. I'm more than happy off the camera. So there's no way I would do it frivolously if I didn't have a purpose. Like I know it's a purpose behind what I'm doing.
That's good.
I'm not, by the way, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about y'all. There's a purpose behind why you're doing it. Should be. I mean, Sharia AI specialist, bro. You know how many people need to understand that right now? That can literally be the deciding factor of whether they're successful in life or not. Literally. To where their business stays in business or not. Literally. That's bro, that's we got responsibility. If we can help, we got a responsibility. And I never heard God pardon anybody in the Bible because fear, doubt, apprehension, worry was in the way.
Mm.
Have you ever? I don't
That's
see
really
any
good.
scripture to where God pardons somebody from not doing what they're supposed to do out of fear, doubt, worry, apprehension, self doubt. I've never seen it. But what I have seen is Him give us principles to live by to get beyond that. Don't be anxious about anything, but through prayer, petition, and supplication, make your request known to God. And the peace that transcends all understanding. Like He gives us principles to get out of it, but He don't give us a pardon to not do it. If people weren't so focused on them and the perception of them, they'd be doing everything they want to do in life, myself included. I'm just a little bit down the. I still had those same moments. I just also know how to coach myself out of them and just do it anyway. Me and you'd have had them conversations privately, you know.
Right.
I just forced myself to do it. Everything that we want is on the other side of everything we don't want.
Mm.
I want financial peace. I want financial freedom. I want to help people. I want to serve people. I want to do all these things. But I don't want shame. I don't want failure. I don't want everything we want is on the other side of everything we don't want. I don't want embarrassment. I don't want to lose no money. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to look bad in front of people. I don't want to. But everything I want is on the other side of everything I don't want. And everything I don't want is made up just as much as everything that I want is made up. My dreams are made up. My doubts are made up. They all made, none of it is a reality. To say I'm gonna live this lifestyle is made up. To say I'm fearful of these things is made up. Ain't neither one of them happen. So everything you want is on the other side of everything you don't want. So what you're gonna have to do? You're gonna have to go through the reality of the things that you don't want to find out that many of them don't even happen anyway. We so focus on what if things go wrong instead of what if things go right. And wonder why our lives is mediocre and they suck. It's because, back to what I said a minute ago, God will love you at the level that you choose to suffer at. Because that's what settling is. Settling is suffering. By the way, if y'all tired of settling, you want to be at our 5-day challenge next week. If you are not signed up for the Purpose to Profits Challenge, and you're ready to take your content, your coaching, your consulting, your cash flow, and all those things to the next level, that's your invitation. www.purpose2profitschallenge.com, or just go to click the link in my bio. It's somewhere on YouTube or on Instagram. We're going to show you how to stop suffering and settling so you can start thriving instead of surviving. And on that note, by the way, please like this video. If you like it so that it could get pushed out and more people could see it. That's all we do it for. P, as always, bro, it's been a pleasure. I know you got to get to work, so I ain't going to hold you.
Man, hearing that is the perfect way to send me off. Perfect way to send me off. I appreciate you, B.
That revelation that God will love you at the level you choose to settle at should scare everybody on this call. Because you think that he gonna come shake you out your sleep and make you go do something. He ain't gonna do not a thing. He gonna give you a desire. He gonna give you some opportunity. And it's gonna be up to you whether you're gonna walk in that reality and take it. If not, he bless you with 70, 80 years, and you show up there one day and he show you all the things that you didn't do in your life. God bless y'all. See you next week.